easiest way to debug the application or mobile application is doing a logging. Logging, I mean that I do a console log as I show you before, that we have console.log and then we have a data. So console log, it will log for me in the terminal, but which terminal? The terminal which is running under Metro. The Metro bundler is going to show me all the console logs which I am doing, and it's like our console. So in this way, if you console log something and save the application, it's going to log the data there. But let's make this code simpler. You know that this is a little bit complicated, so we need to make this simpler so we can go step by step. If you go in the application itself, you will see something called the basics. It's like Hello World application. So let's click on this link and it will take us to something like introduction, and we will have here some example which we will be full application for Hello World. So let's copy all of this code. I am going to explain it later. So we go again to our application in app.js. As I told you, it's the entry point of our application. We delete everything and then we put this code. Let's open again the simulator and then we press save. So we are going to save our code. As you see, it's automatically formatted. And as you see here, I have here my application is debugged and loaded. So if I change this, I will say, for example, here, hello world. So just to be sure that everything is working fine. Okay, nice. We have here hello world. If we go to the parts of the application, you will see that it's very simple. So first we have to import React from React library, and also we need to import some components. Those components are used always in the application. As you know, React Native is not HTML or CSS. No, it's something like we can say components. We are using a components and then we call those components and place some data inside them to display them in our application. We will go in our course for the components which we will need to build our application. So for that, I am going to explain the components which we need for the course itself. So for example, we have here this view. This view is something like you can say in HTML is a div, and div which will contain, for example, something else, components inside, or for example, texts or buttons or text boxes. So here, as you see that this view is implementing as a div inside my application. Also, I can have view inside a view. So we can use like div inside div, exactly the same way. Text, if you want to place a text, you can use it as well. Like you can place any text. It's like a span, or we can say paragraph, and then you can place the text inside the tag here. So now after that, we can say that our component app is called your app. We can say that this one, your app, is loaded here. So when I create my own component and place it here, then the component will be called inside my entry point of my application. So let's rename all of this. We can say this is app and this is app. It shows that this is a function, and this function return for me the React Native template, and this function will be exported and called in the index.js as you see here, and it will be loaded and register the main component as app, and app registry will do for me the running of the application. And this app registry, if we go to it, it's communicating with Android and also with iOS libraries to run the application and change it to a native app. We are not going to go in detail of this. We are going to do practical things. I don't like to do many theory. I like also to do always something practical. That's why my whole courses are in practical, because actually I like to learn from practical things. I need to see something in front of me. So let's do a console log. As I told you, we are going to do a console log. So the logging can be like, we can say the entry point of my application will be inside this function. So this function will return for me this template. But before that, you can write any JavaScript code as I told you. So JavaScript code, we can say console.log and we can say hello world. So we can console log our things. And where I will see this will appear, it will appear in my terminal, which is called Metro, as I showed you, that it will run immediately after bundling the application. So let's zoom that. I want to make it bigger. And as you see here, we have Hello World. Nice. So now if I go again to my application and change this, like we can say here, Hello World. So we will see that the logging is still log here, and there is information which is called log. Okay, great. So let's define, for example, constant, define it up, constant, and I say X, and this X will have, for example, value, my course, and then I will put this. And now I am going to console this X. So we can remove this one, save everything, auto formatting is working fine. And as I go to the terminal again, I will see my course. Nice. So this is JavaScript actually. We are writing here JavaScript, which we are going to use inside our components. For this part, which is called styling, it's like styling but not CSS, it's React Native styling. And we will see later how we are going to style our application. I will talk about all the things which we need to style for our components. So in that way, you can console log and debug your application using the console of your application.